Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for January 14th. As you can see here in the futures, we are gapping down a little bit. Last time we had a gap down like this, it was basically January 2nd, right here. So we closed at the highs here, and then we gap down, and basically out the gates, it kind of popped, filled the gap, and closed. Oh, it actually out the gates, it opened here. It dropped a little bit and then popped and dropped, right? So basically that's kind of like the thesis for tomorrow. I'm looking for opening dip, hold this 9 EMA, pop right back up, pop right into this trend line here, and then drop back down. That's the thesis for tomorrow. Let's take a look at the intraday. Right now we have two major gap downs actually at 6 p.m. When the futures market opened, we had a thump. And then at midnight, right here, at midnight, we had another gap down. So the SPY or the futures is going into shits right now, as you can see. So tomorrow, I am anticipating more of a downward drop, probably into some major support here. I'm looking at, yeah, this 256.4 area, okay, it should be able to find some sort of support, bounce back up, and then sell back off. That's my thesis on it tomorrow. Now, taking a look at what this relates to in the SPY, we're going to gap down here at around the 257 area and then open up, drop, find some support here around the 255. Rip back up, test this opening price, and then sell back down. That's my thesis here. I don't think the market can get back above yesterday's opening price here at the 259 area. So that's the absolute highs I'm going to give it. And let's get into the watch list. Let's move this real quick. Okay, so a few tickers on the watch list tonight. First up, we have Facebook. In my notes here, Facebook has a very nice day trend up line from January 2nd. So let's draw that in. January 2nd from here up into here. As you can see, this is kind of like a straight up move, right? It didn't really have a pullback day except for here on January 3rd. So I do think this ticker is due for a pullback, at least back to the 9 EMA and the 50 SMA here. I will be watching the highs here. It's very clear that nobody wants to buy here at this point. You can tell by the fading volume profile right here. Fading volume profile as this stock gets higher. I mean, some could argue this is just consolidation near the highs and it's just getting ready for the next pop up. However, we are seeing the futures gap down, so I do see it gap down a little bit and then it won't be able to get back up. It looks more like of a bear flag in my opinion, and this is like a cup and handle as well. So like the U shape, the cup, and then the handle. I do see it tomorrow, or I'm going to play the thesis of it to come down to the 9 EMA. Now, if the 141.25 snaps, it's going to cause panic. So let's take a look at this. Basically, right here, 141.25. Okay. So as you can see, for the past few days, it's just basically held on low volume here. So if this snaps, this is like the buyer's line in the sand. Every time it comes down, it does get sucked back up. However, if it snaps, it's going to come down. There's not much holding it up. The immediate support, though, is 142.50 right here. A gap down, I want to see it pop, a little pop back up, or it could just gap down, open, gap down around the 143, open and just sell off, and then bounce from here. Okay, I don't see it get back up and over the 144.50. So I'll be watching this as the highs. I'll be watching 145 as well. Okay, so that's my thesis on Facebook. Next up, we have AAPL. Apple looks like a giant giant bear flag to me. Like it's like a dump, round up, and it's about to roll over, in my opinion. That's what it looks like. I mean, if you take a look at the intraday charts, I mean, this is like the typical pattern of a rollover, right? You see this big dump move, it pops back up, consolidate a little bit, dump, pop back up, consolidate a little bit, dump, right? So on the daily chart, it transcribes as the same, right? So there's big dump, pops back up, consolidate a little bit, filled the gap, and it looks like it's about to dump again. What's more interesting that is it's under the 9 EMA right now, okay? So to me, this looks like a giant bear flag. I want to see a little pop back up into 153, maybe even 153.75 right here, right around this area, and then look for a rejection signal here. However, if we are gapping down, I don't see it get back up here. Not at all. Maybe I'll just watch it from 152.60. I do think it has the next leg to come down. We have fading volume profile again. The buyers are not coming in. That's my personal opinion. It looks really much like a rollover type of pattern, right? So that's Apple. Then we have Netflix. Netflix, super overextended. What the chat room actually showed us today at Trick Trades, Trick found this and posted it in the chat room. He drew this downtrend line. So this downtrend line is very interesting, right? The stock basically haven't really had a pullback day yet. So I am looking for a pullback day, especially when the whole market is about to gap down. I think it could take Netflix with it. Drawing some trend lines here. I mean, if you link this line, this is a giant, actually scroll back a little bit. This here is a giant bullish pennant, right, for the past 2 days. However, I just don't see it keep running unless it has some sort of a pullback day. So I'll be watching the highs at 341. I'll also be watching 340 as well, or 339.50s. Okay, if we are gapping down, I'll be watching for pop back up into these areas and then a fade. The first support area I see is 334.50. So right here at the 50 EMA on the 15-minute chart. Okay, it's also the opening price, the pre-market opening price on what was it, Friday? Yeah. Okay, so that's the first support area. The second support area I'm looking at is 332, and then we have 330 as well. So these are ideally my target areas. I want to see it pop up and short back down, and I'll be paying myself here. If it gaps down, I want to see it drop right out of the gates, have a little bit of panic, and then find some sort of support around these areas, ride it back up, and then short it back down. So these are the levels I'll be watching, and I'll be looking to play on both the long and short side of the trade tomorrow on Netflix. Okay. Roku, I'm watching for, well, let's take a look at the on the daily chart here. This is a massive run up on Roku, and it's pulling back still. We are under the 50 SMA, so I'll be using that as more of a guide and a resistance area. I'll be watching for a cover pop to the 40, and then short it back down and bring it to the target of 38, okay, which is a test of this low. Okay, from there, I'll be expecting some sort of a double bottom of 38s and people running it back up or buying it back up from there, okay? So double bottom, 38s. Will pay myself at 39 as well because it did show support. And that's my thesis on Roku. We are gonna well, I hope Roku is going to gap down with the market. So if it does gap down, let's see where it goes and then look for a cover pop. Okay, that's ROKU. Next up, we have Baba. Baba, this blue line here is the 100 SMA on the daily chart. Interestingly, it tapped out twice here already. We have fading volume. We have a doji. I'll be watching it test this 100 SMA again. More precisely, the 153, okay, and the 152.5. 152.5 is a very key psychological number here. So a gap down, and my target is initially 150, but it really depends on in the morning how far it gaps down, right? We are following a pretty nice downtrend line right now. So if it gaps down, I'll be watching for this trend line as well. And as it reaches this trend line, I'll be watching for a rejection signal to short it back down. I think it has potential to pull back down to this 50 SMA here at 147.50. So that would be my main target, but be very careful at 150 here where it could possibly bounce back up because it is a psychological whole number. And finally, we have LB. LB is closing very weak, right? So I do anticipate a gap down. From there, I'll be looking for a cover pop. My resistance zone that I'm looking at is 26.75 to 27 area. And I do think it has the potential to come all the way down to test the lows here, at least 25. So that's my target. Yeah, so that's the watch list for this evening. If you enjoy what you watch, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Thanks.